Hi there, it's Jason Gorman from Codemanship. I help teams build their software development capability through training and coaching. I live in a bubble. I suppose we all do. In my bubble, people talk about things like test driven development, software design principles, and refactoring. But there are very few people in my bubble talking about user experience. Solid design principles appear in every social media feed of mine. Nielsen's usability heuristics very rarely get mentioned. It suggests that perhaps, in my bubble, UX just isn't on our radar. I know a lot of teams don't see UX design as their job, and this can lead to an agile filling in a waterfall sandwich. While delivery may well be highly incremental, it often starts with a big user experience design up front and ends with the expectation that it will all be delivered as specified. Teams are presented with wireframes or HTML or Figma files as a fait accompli. This is bad news. UX designs often arrive without a coherent story or without any meaningful testing. What happens when the user clicks that button? What happens if the email address doesn't work? So many unanswered questions. It would be nice to think that the UX designer, in collaboration with the customer, has thought through all the details of system behavior. Heads up, that's almost never the case. But even if it was, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Maybe the UX design works on paper, but until real users are given real software to test, it's still guesswork at best. The UX design will need to evolve right from that first drop of working software. So UX designs typically arrive with a very real risk that they will need to change as these details come into focus on a day-to-day basis. And if the UX designer has moved on, as is often the case, and potentially used up most of the customer's goodwill up front, it's harder to get that customer to engage in an ongoing design process. And in an average programming session, I'll see developers actually change the user experience in the code itself, sometimes without even realizing they've done it. The classic example is exception handling. This is the thing that I think eludes a lot of dev teams. Ultimately, it's all user experience. If no user anywhere is experiencing it, then what's it for? The best user experiences I've been involved in creating were not a product of big UX design up front, and were not created by teams who saw user experience design as somebody else's job. User experience design is a continuous activity like testing, code reviews, and refactoring. It's a shared responsibility and a discipline every developer needs firmly on their radar.